Get ready to get shticky. Shticky Situations is sponsored by Corona Crush. Corona Crush is creating Jewish couples always. Join the Facebook group. Just search Corona Crush and look out for virtual speed dating events happening every other week. They're 100% free and 100% Jewish.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Shticky Situations. I'm your host, Rachel, which obviously you already know because I'm unforgettable. Whatever platform you are listening on right now, go follow or subscribe. Go give us a 5-star rating and a glowing review. Nice reviews only, please. You can also leave us a comment. I can see your Spotify comments, and I'm always happy to respond to them. I love hearing what you guys think. Go follow Shticky Situations Pod on Instagram and go follow Shticky Situations Pod on TikTok. If you would like to be a guest on my podcast, please reach out. I love hearing from you guys. You can either send me a DM on Instagram at Shticky Situations Pod or send me an email at stickysituationspod@gmail.com. There's also applications in my Corona Crush posts, which I will check. So if you do that, I will also see it. So DM, email, fill out the form. I would love to have you on the podcast. The same thing goes for if you would like to date any of my single guests. As you know, I have now added in asking my single guests if they want to share what they're looking for, if they're actively looking, to tell us at the end of the episode. And also, I tell mine at the end of the episode because I need to get married and I need Sticky Situation Nation's help to do that because I've run out of options. I don't even know where to turn anymore. So I'm like, I have this platform, I might as well use it to help other people and to help myself. So if one of my single guests sounds good for someone you know or for yourself, please reach out and I will try to facilitate it. I can't make any promises. And the same thing, if you know anyone for me or if you think you are good for me, please reach out, send me a DM, send me an email, and we'll see what we can do. I can't promise I'll want to go out with you, but if you do set me up, I will invite you to my wedding and I will give you shadchanis. So, incentive. And yeah, you would just know you're the one who set up the Sticky Situations girl. And that's a big honor. So, please do it. Okay, I have an extra special guest today. So please welcome my friend Genie. Genie, welcome to the podcast.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Of course, thanks for being here. Okay,
Yeah,
Genie,
yeah.
before we get into your stories, I always ask my guests to just share a few facts about them or a few details about themselves. So can you please tell me and my listeners your age, location, relationship status, and religious denomination?
For sure. So, my name's Jeannie. I'm 28 years old. I'm from Miami, and I'm currently single, and I'm Sephardic modern Orthodox.
Okay, great. Yeah, I always ask my guests just so my listeners and I can get an idea of your dating pool, kind of. So where your stories come from. So should we jump into a story? Should we start?
Yeah, let's jump in. I have a lot of stories. I've dated countless guys. I've been in quote unquote like shidduchim dating for about 4 years now, but I'm also on the apps. I'm in like shidduch groups. I'm kind of like everywhere. Everyone always asks me like, how are you meeting guys? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm really like my hishtadlus is doing everything and like all the time. So yeah, so let's jump in. So I recently just spent 6 months in Israel. I just got back and I tried the dating scene over there. It clearly didn't work out. So I have a few really good Israel dating stories. The last date I went on was, I would say, like right before Purim. This guy and I matched on JSwipe, and I'd seen him around before because, you see the same guys in on JSwipe a lot.
Yeah.
So we matched. We decided to meet up for a coffee date, and we go to like the aroma and the shuck, like very public, whatever. It was like a really cute date spot. So we're on the date, and there's definitely like a language barrier that's going on, but whatever. I'm trying my best, and we
He
get on
was
the
Israeli.
topic. I don't know. He was French, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was French, who he was like a Baal Teshuva who made Aliyah and just like is living his life in Israel. He like lives in like Nachlao area, like that's the vibe. So we were on this date, and at one point, I don't know why he brings up his ex, but he does, which is already like a red flag. Like I don't think it's appropriate to bring up ex stories on a first date. Like I find it to be really weird. But he brings her up, and he's talking to her, and I could tell that he's like really happy to talk about her. So I knew that this date was not going anywhere. Like I could already tell we're just way too different. So I asked, like, well, why are you guys like why'd you guys break up? Like clearly you still have like feelings for her. And he was like, you're right. She still, quote unquote, she still has my whole heart.
Wow.
I'm not joking. I looked around for cameras because there was no way that someone just said this to me. And I just kind of like nodded and smiled. And I was like, oh, she does? So why'd you guys break up? And he says that like she really flipped out. Like she's very Haredi now. And I was like, he like, is like white shirt, black pants. Like, I don't know. Like, I guess she's very Haredi. I was like, oh, that really sucks. Like, he's like, yeah, it does. It really does. So this man is like sad about his ex. And I realized right there and then, like, I'm gonna cut this date short. Like, I'm not wasting another 10 minutes of my life with him.
Yeah.
So I made up an excuse. Like, I was like, oh, well, like, I have to go now. Like, my friends are waiting for me. We have like a few plans. So he asked me what my plans are. And I remember like making some stuff up with my friends. And like, to be polite, I asked him, like, oh, what are you doing now? He's like, oh, I have to run a few errands, but I'm going back to my apartment first if you want to come. And
What?
yeah, and I looked at him and I was like, to your apartment? He's like, yeah, it's right over there because we were in the shook. And I was like, no, I'm good. As soon as I said that, he literally got up.
What the
Like,
heck?
no, like, oh, so nice to meet you. He literally said, okay, bye. And he got up and he just walked out. So I'm sitting there.
Oh my
And I
gosh.
just could not believe, like, I said no to going back to your apartment. So he just got up and walked away. And I thought, okay. And that was the last date I went on while I was in Israel because I just thought, yeah, that was my limit. That was the limit.
Oh my gosh. Did he say how long before that his ex and he and his ex had broken up?
It had been about like a year. It definitely wasn't recent.
Oh wow. And he was still like
He was
obsessed.
pining over her. Honestly, I hope they're back together because he was so into her.
Oh my, do you think he like used that as a ploy to get you back to his apartment?
I don't think so. He was really basically he had something really niche about himself. Like all the friends and Sam who like I showed his profile to, they were like, "Oh my gosh, he's the blank guy." And I was like, "Yeah." So he has something back in his apartment that he like tries to get girls to go see. So he like
Oh,
tried. I feel like if I see it, it's like really niche. Like he's like this is in his like profiles. This is like and like I've asked my friends and they're like, oh yeah, that's what he talked about the entire
oh my
time.
gosh. Wait, I have another question. Was this guy like from?
I guess so. I think from is such a hard thing for me to like understand when it comes to guys. I've dated from like black hat to like semi keeping Shabbos and kosher. Like I've dated like a spectrum of guys. So
Yeah.
it's so hard for me to like understand what from is because I've dated Shomer and these guys are supposed to be from and then they do not want to be Shomer. And so I'm very confused when it comes to dating, I guess.
Yeah.
I just do like Orthodox and kosher on the dating apps and
Yeah.
yeah.
No, but I guess because I thought you said this guy was in like black pants and a white shirt
Yeah, he was
and like
with like
inviting
a
you back
black
to his
velvet.
apartment. Like,
That's why I'm saying it's so hard to know what
yeah.
from is nowadays because yeah, you've got a guy with a white shirt, black pants, black velvet kippah, and then he's
Yeah.
inviting me back to the apartment. Like there's a
Honestly,
lot of yeah.
I feel like a lot of those guys are like that. They're a little sketchy and they just want to hook up,
Yeah.
even though they're like quote unquote yeshivish.
Yeah, the very first guy that like I went on a date with, he's from New York, Far Rockaway Yeshiva, and I had never dated before. So
Yeah.
I was obviously like new to this whole system of dating and who, and like parameters and boundaries. And we met at like a Pesach program And afterwards, he came down to Miami and we're like on a date. And he, of course, like tries something. And I was so confused. I was so like, I was just very confused because this guy was actually like white shirt, black hat, black pants, like yeshiva in Far Rockaway. And I kind of asked him, I was I like, can you clear this up because I'm confused. And also, this is like my first date. And he was like, oh, well, like when I come to Miami, things are just like different here. And I was very confused by that. I was like, what do you mean? He's like, well, like it's Miami, like it's like anything goes here.
Oh
And
my
he goes, but don't worry,
gosh.
like when I go back to yeshiva, like I go back to having a kosher phone, like
Oh my
this and
God.
that. And he's explaining to me. And I was like, so are you on like vacation from God? Like he's still here. And
Yeah.
that was one of my first experiences dating in this modern world of you look yeshivish, you act yeshivish, but you want to hook up. And I think that's
Yeah.
been like a pattern in these guys that I've dated. And it's so funny to me because I just can't understand it.
Do you think that pattern is similar, like from what you said that this first guy said, that, oh, I'm in Miami, anything goes in Miami? And because like you're from Miami, or because you live in Miami, they think that like, oh, she's in Miami, like, so she's obviously like this because Miami is Miami.
Yeah, I completely agree. I've had several guys like this is the deal type of thing. Like they think I'm from Miami, so they think, oh, she's like modern, she's from Miami. I've spoken to my friends about this as well. And one of my good friends was telling me that a guy from New York came down to date her and he did the same thing with her. And she was so confused. And he said, but you're from Miami. Like girls from Miami are just more chill. And I've discussed with like several of my girlfriends, and there's like a conclusion that guys think girls in Miami are more down to do things.
That's actually crazy. Okay, I have friends from Miami and I've had other podcast guests from Miami. I think that's wild. I've never heard that before. That is so, I mean, I 100% believe that. Like, I do think people go on vacation and have this like vacation mindset. And like, I have gone, I have seen guys act differently like in Miami than they do in New York. Like, I don't, at least outwardly, but that's so wild. Like, that's crazy. Like, what the heck is wrong with these guys?
Yeah. So that's kind of been my dating experience.
Do
Um,
you
Kind of like a pattern.
have you do you think you've mostly dated guys not from Miami, or have you gone out with guys who also like live in Miami or are from Miami?
Mm, Definitely a mix. Most of the guys I go out with are from New York. Like I think that's the bigger dating pool.
Yeah.
Miami doesn't have such a religious YP community. Like it's really hard here to date.
Yeah.
Most of my friends and I will go to New York to date. We'll date guys out of town, from other places. Miami just doesn't have such a dating pool. There's a lot of Jewish guys and they're all great, but most of them I would say like are more on the traditional side, very secular, traditional, like very pro-Israel, very firm in their Jewish beliefs, but still like we'll go to Shabbat dinner and then go to the club afterwards.
Yeah, that's kind of I've been to visit a few times and that was kind of the vibe I got as well. Like there were definitely some people that I met who like were Shomer Shabbos and all of that, but I definitely like understand what you're saying and got a similar vibe. Again, I was just there to visit. Don't worry, everybody. I didn't like cut all my morals loose when I went to Miami. I was visiting my friend.
Oh,
I I act the same in Miami as I do in New York. Maybe just a
yeah.
little happier because I like the sunshine.
Yeah. I always like categorize the guys in Miami as three different categories. So you've got the ones from Miami who just came back from yeshiva, like freshly 19-year-old buckers, like they're getting married within the year, you know. So
Yeah.
you've got those that like are just completely out. You've got the 35 and up divorcees who are just, you know, they got divorced and they moved down to Miami. And it's also like a group of guys. Like they just do their own thing. Like weirdos. I don't know how to like be nicer about that. And then you've definitely got the group of guys my age who even the religious ones are just not ready to settle down. Like they do not want to commit. They don't want to settle down. They still want to have their fun. They want to like sow their wild oats type thing. So finding a guy who wants to commit in Miami is halacha to anyone who's trying to do it, really.
It's crazy. I guess I didn't realize that. I know my friend was telling me like there are a big group of guys who are older, like mid to upper 30s who like moved to Miami, whatever. But yeah, wow. And then you just have the New York party boys who come to Miami to party and aren't serious. So like have you dated any guys who like
Yeah,
are normal?
that's definitely like I really have dated normal guys. I've gone on some really great first dates where I come back and I have no complaints, but I just know that's not my husband.
Yeah.
And like there was nothing wrong with them. Like it just you just know. I'm very into that. Like when you know, you know. When you don't, you don't.
Yeah, Taylor Swift said it.
So I've got I yeah, I was trying to like sneak that in there.
When you know, you know, and when you don't, you don't. My most played song of 2025.
Oh my
Oblate.
gosh. Yeah. I had to like sneak that in there. Anyone who knows me knows that like being a Swiftie is like a massive personality trait. So I
Oh
was
yeah.
like, oh, I could.
Oh, don't worry. It's welcome here. I'm a huge Swiftie.
Oh, amazing.
And
Um,
she has a lyric for everything. I was actually like I was out with friends today and we saw something. We were at the Met at the art museum and we saw something and I can't even remember what line it was, but I literally said a line about it. Oh, we were looking at a painting and it kind of looked like New York City skyline. And then we looked closer and it's like, oh no, I think the painting's actually trees. And I'm like, the monsters turned out to be just trees. Um,
literally.
but but yeah, no, I can relate anything back to Taylor Swift also. But she's right. It's like when you know, and when you don't, you don't. So far, I've only been at the when you don't, you don't.
Mhm.
But I do believe it. Like, and I talk about this, and honestly, I was editing a prior episode that will you guys will have heard it, and we talked about like clarity when it comes to dating, and I hope I've had so much clarity when it comes to the not right guys. Like, yeah, I think it's good to give people a chance until you have that clarity. So I'm hoping when the right one comes along, I also have the clarity.
I always say I think clarity is one of the most important things to just have. Because I've dated good guys. Like, I'll tell you, this one guy I dated who is now like super happily married, and I'm so happy for him. We went on a few dates. He's not from Miami, and he was such a nice guy. Like I could see myself, you know, like I'm like he's a really nice guy, but that was the only thing that I was excited about is that he was a nice guy.
Yeah.
And I think when you've been dating not nice guys, a nice guy, you're like, oh my gosh, he's so nice. I need to like just like grab him because he's like
Yeah.
diamond in the rough. And he was such a nice guy. But then like we went on a few dates and like our final date, I realized like he's not my husband, but he's so nice. And our like breakup was super friendly, super amicable. He really told me like if you ever find yourself in my city and like you need help, like please reach out. I met his mom; she's like the sweetest. And like when he got engaged, I was so happy for him because I was like, yeah, like he's a nice guy. So there are nice guys out there.
I think
There's
the
definitely
nice
nice guys out there, and
no, I think it makes it harder when they're nice. Like I've had it too. Like I've dated these guys who are just like such good guys and it's like I I it's hard to end things with a guy who's a really good guy, but sometimes like when you don't know, you don't know. Like it's a no, and I knew that they were not going to be my husband. So, but that I think that's the hardest. That's the hardest when you like go out with a good guy and but you know it's not your husband and like it was a good date and he's a good person. Like those are the hardest to end. Those are even worse than like the guys you go out with who are it's miserable dates.
Yeah. I think that's like an excellent segue actually to the guy I dated last year who's like someone I dated very seriously. Like we're talking about like almost ring. Like we were there. We were on the path. We were good. And I was happy and he was happy and he was such a nice guy. Like he didn't have any bad qualities to him. He really checked all my boxes. He was so nice and I was so happy. I was so comfortable. I felt safe the whole time. And it went well until it didn't.
Hmm.
And like, when we had our final date where I decided, like, I knew pretty well into, I would say, like a good 6 or 7 hour date. I knew, like, well into hour one that I didn't want to be on this date anymore. And I wanted to break up with him.
Oh
But, like,
wow.
I powered through. Yeah.
Did you
I
decide
powered
it
through.
then or it was something you had already been thinking about?
No, it was right there and then. Like something happened and I was like, no, my husband would not do this. Like something had happened the prior week, but I kind of, like we talked about it, it ended, it was good, like we talked it out and it was fine. And then I get to New York and we're like on this date and like pretty quickly I was already feeling a type of way because of what happened last week,
Yeah.
but I obviously was still gonna go to New York and we were gonna like go out. And it was going really well until something happened while we were like at breakfast together. And I got like, I was like ready to just end it. But I am the least confrontational person you would know. Like, I just, very people pleaser, will suck it up, will like vent to my friends later. But like in the moment, like, you won't know when something's bothering me. So, the entire day together. And during a few times, my friends will text me and they're like, "Are you good?" And I was like, "No, like I really want to go home, but we're like still doing things." And he was great the whole time. Like he was like respectful, he was happy, he thought we were having the best day ever. Meanwhile, I'm like having a mental breakdown inside my head. And
Oh
I
no.
remember he dropped me off at the end of the day. He dropped me off at my friend's house that I was sleeping at. And I came, like, I passed the door and I started sobbing. And my friend's like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "No, I have to break up with him, but I can't do it because I can't be a confrontational person like that." And I was like crying to my friends on the phone, like I have to break up with him. Like I can't leave New York without breaking up with him. Like it wouldn't be okay. I can't like go back to Miami and break and like call him from there. Like I have to do it tonight. But I'm not crying because there's like a lot of emotions that were going on. I think the first thing was I hate confrontation and I don't want to like break his heart basically because
Yeah.
we had definitely talked about getting engaged. And so I already knew, I was like, oh, this man is like ready. And I have to tell him, like, no, like it's done, it's over. And I was like, okay, what, like, is this it for me? Like, should I just do it? Like, should I just keep going? My friends were like, no, you can't. You have to break up with him. And I was like, no, I physically can't. Like, I can't. The idea of hurting him was hurting me because he was such a nice guy.
Yeah.
So I just knew at the end of the day, like I was like, he's not my husband, even though I wish he had been because everything aligned, the boxes were checked, I was happy, we were good. Like it just when it ended, it was so sad. And I remember obviously calling him and ending it. And I just it was a rough time. Like it was really rough to just end it. And he was so nice because he was such a nice guy. And I root for him. Like there's certain guys that like I really root for like getting engaged because I'm like because they're generally good guys and like they're just they just weren't my husband, but they're someone else's for sure.
Yeah. How long did you date him?
We dated about 2 months.
Okay. So, I mean, it's a solid amount of time. Also, I guess it depends like what world you're in. Like for me, like I dated someone earlier this year for like 2 months and I was like, whatever. It was nowhere close to getting engaged. I didn't even call him my boyfriend. Like we were not there yet, but I guess depending on what circles you're dating in, like 2 months, it could be like very, very, very serious.
Yeah, so he was I think because of the circles we were in at that point, I knew I wasn't gonna date him for 6 months. I've always said like I'm good to date for like between 3 and 6 months, but like 6 months includes the engagement.
Oh,
Like
wow. Okay. Yeah.
like that's kind of what like how I gauge my timeline with guys. So we had dated. Oh, and it was like the Omer. So like I knew we couldn't get engaged anyway till like Lag BaOmer or like after Shavuos type thing. So we had talked about like timeline wise. So it
Oh,
definitely
wow.
was a conversation that we had with each other because we were both comfortable getting engaged after like right after Shavuos time because it was yeah, I came to see him after Pesach. So we were both comfortable with like getting engaged after Shavuos and then we knew like the engagement was going to be like 2 to 3 months max.
Oh, wow. Wow. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy. I guess my question is, do you think I know and I like you ended things because you had like good reasons why you no longer had feelings for this guy. So I know a lot of a hot topic that in dating in general that women discuss is like the ick. So I think like what you're describing is like an extreme version of the ick. Like it's more than just the ick. I'm not like negating what you're saying down to the ick. But do you think there's ever a way to go back from that? Like, do you think if you like do you think he could have remedied any of the situation? Like if you talk to him about anything or I don't know, I think this is also a question like I don't really know the answer to all of it. Like I know sometimes in relationships you build up so much resentment and so much like bad feelings towards someone that you can't ever go back. But
Mhm.
do you think there are ways of going back?
I definitely think there are because during our relationship, I had like a question about something he said and I like spiraled over it. Like I was spiraling. And I remember my friend, one of my best friends, she's just very into like you need to talk it out. Like she's a communication queen. And she just said like you just have to ask him. Like ask him because then you'll get your answer and you will stop yourself from spiraling. So we were the type where we would like talk to each other on the phone, either like every day or every other day, just like during, like when we could, either at night while I was driving, et cetera, et cetera. And I remember asking him, like, hey, you said this yesterday or like a few days ago. Like, what did you mean by it? Is that like a hard something you need or it's like a want? And he was like, oh no, like not at all. Like, it's like, he's like, it's not a make it or break it type situation. And I was like, oh, okay. Like, I thought it was. And he was like, no, like if we don't, like it's all good. And I was like, okay. And I kind of told him like I was spiraling over it. And he was like, no, like I'm so sorry. Like I don't want you to spiral over things. Like we had a very open line of communication.
Mhm.
So I definitely think that if you begin with having an open line of communication, then like things like the ick where like you can discuss because I also think there's a really big difference between like getting the ick for someone and something happening during the course of the relationship that can make or break it and you can either like swallow it and just build resentment and then like explode one day or you can say like hey this happened, can we talk about it?
Yeah. Do you have you ever thought Like, has your mind ever gone back to like, oh, maybe like I should have a conversation with him or like try again? Or you're so
Oh,
like,
all the time. All the time. I'm literally like, I'm like, I should call him. And my friends are like, no. I wouldn't call him to get back together with him,
hmm
but I would call him to discuss for closure purposes because I do feel like it ended so abruptly on my end. And for him, it's like we had a great day and then I ended it. So I think for myself, I would want to talk to him, but just to tell him, like, hey, this was my point of view of what happened.
yeah,
But I also don't think he owes me that conversation. So I would never I would never reach out and say, like, hey, can we talk about what happened?
yeah. Do you think your paths would ever cross?
Yeah. But that's just because I feel like New York is really small.
Yeah, I mean it is and it isn't. It all depends. It depends where in New York you are. Like if you live in the city and he lives in Long Island, like it's not like your paths might not necessarily cross unless you go to like similar events and stuff. But
It
like,
actually, our friends set us up. Like, he's friends with the guy, I'm friends with the girl, and they're
oh well,
married. And I remember my friend was pregnant, and like, thank God, she has a really beautiful baby girl now. But
Mazel
I
tov.
remember telling my other friends, like, if she has a boy, I have to go to the bris, and he'll probably be there. And I remember like Loki being relieved when she had a girl, and I was like, oh, okay, I'm not going good. I don't have to go to a bris. Because again, like, I'm really not that confrontational.
Yeah.
Uh, but I yeah.
It's interesting that he never reached out to like find out more.
No, because we kind of had like a we spoke on the phone when I ended it. It wasn't like a quick text like we spoke about it,
Yeah.
but he never no, he's not the type to like reach out again for like I feel like he would think that he's bothering me. Like that's just the
Okay.
kind of like he was like such a mensch about it. So like no, he's not gonna like reach out.
Okay. I guess that's a good thing. So, yeah, it's always interesting. It's hard thinking back like things you would do differently and like I don't know, getting the closure that you need. I had that also. I mean, it was whatever. I ended up sending another message. I already talked about it on the podcast, but the way things ended with like the last guy I dated was not how like I didn't really appreciate how it ended and then when it happened in the moment I didn't really want to get into it and then I sat with it for a few days and then I was like no, I actually have a lot more to say and I'm going to say it and I didn't appreciate it. But yeah, so I guess that was my closure. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's so hard with dating and relationships with the closure stuff because I feel like when things end, it's very rare to get that full feeling of closure.
Right. Because if I was like super in the conversation when I ended it, maybe I would have gotten more closure. But I kind of just said what I said and ended it. Um, but speaking of closure and stuff, there was a
hmm
guy I dated a few years ago. We dated on like FaceTime for about 6 weeks till he came down to Miami. First red flag, dating for 6 weeks when he's from Miami and lives in New York. Ladies, do not let a man make you wait for 6 weeks to see you and like FaceTimes, like once a week type thing. So we had
Oh,
definitely, yeah, I know. So listen, I learned from my dating experiences. Like I really learned. One of the things I learned is that I'm not going to date someone for 6 weeks over Zoom when you live in New York and you are actually from Miami. Anyway, date for like 6 weeks over FaceTime, whatever, etc. And he comes down to Miami, but he only comes down because he has a wedding, which is also like, I don't love that, Like,
yeah.
so he comes down because he has a wedding on Sunday. So he comes down Thursday. We go out on Thursday night. I thought we had a great date. Like, I just thought we had a great date. He doesn't text me Friday. doesn't text me like Erev Shabbos, doesn't text me Motzei Shabbos, doesn't text me on Sunday. At that point, like I'm spiraling because
Yeah.
just no text, nothing. And then he sends me a text on Monday ending it and it doesn't give me a reason. Just like there's literally no reason. And I remember being like, what did I do wrong? Like it really was a moment where I was like, oh, I did something wrong. Like this is on
No.
me. This, yeah. Like this is probably like 2 or 3 years ago at this point. So I was definitely like just like thinking I did something wrong. And I actually apologized.
No.
Yes, no, yeah, I did. I sent him a text when he ended it off. I sent him a reply apologizing if like I did something to hurt him or offend him. And he was like, "No, like you don't have to apologize. I just think we're on different religious levels."
Okay.
Okay, whatever that means. Um, and then I kind of and then I just like said, "Okay, thanks for clarifying." But I just thought kind of like after 6 weeks of dating, like a text is kind of yucky. Like it's just not nice.
Yeah.
Because I've definitely like guys who I go on like one date with and like I don't want to see again, I'll like send a text like, hey, like you're a really great guy. Like I just don't think we're for each other. But I've like someone who I've dated at least 3 or 4 dates, like I would never send them a text. Like when I ended it with the other guy with the other nice guy who's now married, I called him and he like I told him like I really thought like the appropriate thing was to call you because we have been dating. And he was like, no, I actually really appreciate a phone call. Like a text message wouldn't have been like appreciated. And I was like, honestly, same. Like if you ended it through text, like I would be kind of annoyed.
Yeah. No, I 100% agree. That was part of my thing, which I've already talked at length about. Like this guy who I dated for like almost 2 months sent me like a Megillah long text message, and I was like, it was just so unappreciated.
They love a
Like,
Megillah.
and it was blaming me for everything, even though like I was the one who was honest from the get-go. And it's just like, I don't know. It's like to me, like I understand you want to convey everything, but also at the same time, it takes the humanity out of it. And it's like, I don't know, like breaking up is such like a it's like something you really need, unless something really, really crazy bad happened, and then that person does not even deserve my time for a phone call, fine. But like, I don't know, I feel like when you are in it with someone and like at a point where like you mean something to each other, like breaking up in a text is like so inhuman.
Yeah, I
And
totally
so
agree.
it's just like it takes the humanity out of it. It takes the personal out of it, and it's like you can't tell me that I meant anything to you if like this is how you end things. Because
Yeah,
like breaking up is supposed to be hard. It's supposed to be a hard emotional thing, and like it's just like it's something you have to do. Like we've all done it.
yeah,
We've all
it's
broken up with someone.
right. Um, but I think that also leads to the conversation where like communication nowadays is so like one dimensional in that way. Like the guy can simply send a text and then he's like, okay, like I did my part. Like like this is self-care, I'm like protecting my peace.
Yeah, I think we take it a little bit too far sometimes.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. I see the like I see the whole debate online about like breaking up aside, but even like communicating in general, like you're saying like, oh, everyone thinks that they can have access to me all the time versus like and needing to take care of my own like mental energy versus like efficiently like actively like being a good communicator. Like for me personally, like I have a desk job. I sit at my desk. Sometimes I'm very busy and I don't really look at my phone. And I understand, like, sometimes I don't have the mental energy to answer someone. it could be like, I don't know, sometimes scheduling podcast recordings. It's like I don't really know my schedule. I'm overwhelmed with my life and like I just like I can't answer this right now. Or like, sir, I have friends who I have ongoing conversations with and like I have that understanding with them. Like I have this one friend and I feel like every time I respond to him, I apologize for not answering. But I know we have like a whole back and forth on WhatsApp, like answering multiple part messages. And I'm like, I know when I answer him, I need to have like 10 minutes and mental energy to answer him. And sometimes I just don't have 10 minutes and mental energy. So that kind of thing like is understandable, but when it comes to dating, I think it's really hard because you have to balance that whole like sometimes like I don't have mental energy to answer a boy, but also at the same time, I think it's disrespectful to someone to like leave a message like that, like someone you're like trying to plan a date with or someone you're trying to like build something with. I think it's not nice to like leave that unanswered for so long and like I don't know. I'm supposed to go on a date later this week and I already have like such a bad taste in my mouth
Mm.
like for this guy because number one, he like the way it was set up, fine, he took over a week to reach out to begin with, which like I don't appreciate. Like I already wrote him off and then I was like, why what? Like I was confused when he messaged me. Like fine. Then he like to plan a phone call, he messages me. He sent me a message at night. I sent a message back the next morning because like
Yeah,
past a certain time of night, I'm not answering my messages.
I
But I
agree.
but I sent him a message back the next morning in a timely manner. And he didn't answer. Like he sent me a message like Wednesday night. I answered Thursday morning. He didn't send me a message back until late night Motzei Shabbos.
Oh, I don't like that.
Like to plan a phone call. And it's like we're not even having conversation. This is literally to plan. And like I don't like that. And then
Wait, can I ask you something?
yeah,
No, interview now. Is he from New York? Like, is he in your area?
he is in my area, but he's not from here. I mean, I'm also not from New
Right,
York. But yeah, he lives in New York.
right. So, what's your opinion on phone calls with someone who lives nearby?
I always do a phone call before I go out on a date because
Really?
I feel like I have this is just something I kept from COVID times. Like COVID, I would always have like a phone or video call with someone to make sure it was worth like actually like getting all the flack from my roommates and like having to like go through the process of like actually seeing someone in person during COVID. And I kept that because it's really good. I get set up with a lot of socially off guys. So like it's a good weed
Oh
out
yeah.
because if someone's socially off, I can usually tell on the phone. And like then I can just I had the call. I kept an open mind. I gave them the chance for the call, but they're clearly not for me. So why am I wasting my time going out on a date? I also like I'm just a busy person. Like I have the podcast, I work, I have a social life. I also like need time to like chill. And for me, at this point in my life, like I'm 32. I've been dating for 10 plus years. Like I we're past the point of like, oh, why don't you just like go and see? Like, no. Sometimes you really, really know that it's
Mhm.
not going to be a vibe and you can tell that on the phone call. And like, for that, I'm not wasting cute hair, cute, like good hair. I'm not wasting doing my hair, a cute outfit, putting on makeup and spending an evening. Like, I don't need a boy to buy me dinner. I don't need a boy to buy me drinks. I definitely don't need to go do an activity with a random boy that I like never want to see again. Like, I don't need any of that. I'm happier spending time with my friends, scheduling a podcast recording, watching TV. I don't need that. So, yeah, I always do a phone call. Just I like to get a person's vibe. And like if they seem normal, I usually will go on a date. But sometimes like you can really really tell from a phone call that like it's not aligned. So, sometimes if it's a friend setup,
Yeah.
maybe I won't. Like that's really the only time. Like I have been set up by friends who and the guy's like, let's just go on a date. Like, do we need a phone call? And like, okay, fine. If it's a friend setup, maybe I can look past not having a phone call. But like if it's a dating app guy, if it's like a shotgun, if it's like one of these groups, like this guy, it happens to be this guy's like from one of the groups. Like I don't know them personally, so and I no, I'm sure I guess I do have mutual friends with this person, like I could have asked. But yeah, I usually try to do a phone call.
That's such an interesting take. Um, well, I mean, the guys I date are usually like from New York or like out of town, so that's like a phone call is always like minimum. But I bring this up because I think like 2 weeks ago, I got set up with a guy who lives less than 10 minutes from me, like momish, less than 10 minutes from me. And he wanted to have a phone call first. And I kind of thought, I was like, okay, but like you also live right here. Like, can we go get like a drink? Can we get a coffee? And he's like, no, like I only do phone calls first. And I was like, oh, I just assumed since we live nearby, like we can meet in person. He's like, no, I don't waste my time like that. And then I was like, oh, then no worries. Um, like all good, no worries. Cause I just thought for me, like if I'm willing to, go out in person, cause usually the phone call is for the girl. But if like I'm willing to go out in person, it could have been like a little like nicer conversation the way he like handled it.
Yeah, yeah, he definitely could have handled it nicer. Like the way I say it is like, "Oh, I feel more comfortable talking to somebody before I agree to go out in person." Yeah, I mean, really my objective is I don't want to waste my time, but also like sometimes you can tell a person's vibe on the phone and like if I get a creepy vibe, like I'm not going out, like that's for my safety.
Yeah.
If I get a socially off vibe, like I'm not going out, I'm not wasting my time. If I get a vibe that like we're totally different religious compatibility levels, like I'm not going to waste my time. If like it's not it's not sadly, it's not rare that I don't go out on the date after the call, but I do tend to give a chance still for the date if I feel comfortable enough on the call.
That's valid. Yeah. There's definitely been a few first dates that I wouldn't have gone out if we had had a call first.
Yeah, and I have those in my past also, which is why I keep the call. And like sometimes I'll have a call with a guy who's like a little off or whatever, and it's like, thank God I had a call. Or like, I don't know, I had a call with a guy maybe a couple months ago, a month or so ago, and I think he was like, I don't think he was yeshivish, but like he was like a little bit too yeshivish for me. And like I could tell that on the call, and we didn't really have much in common. And like I don't know, honestly, he got on the phone and I heard that yeshivish accent, and I'm just like, I can't do this. He's definitely he was nice. We had honestly we only had like a 20-minute phone call, but he was the one who said like, oh, I don't think we should go out, and I totally agreed with it. Like totally fine by me. Because I honestly kind of got the ick from the yeshivish accent right away. But I don't know. The guy definitely should have been nicer when he said that to you. But did you end up talking to him? Did you end up going out?
No, no, not at all. We didn't even have a phone call.
Really? Because you said no because he said it like that?
Um, it was the way he said it, and I just said like, oh, I would have preferred to go out, and it was just like the attitude. I was like, okay, like I'm like, no, there's only room for like one of us to have an attitude in this relationship, and like it's
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, I don't like the attitude
Um,
either. Like I think there's definitely more tactful ways of saying it.
yeah, because he also said like he does phone calls and coffee dates. That's like the only things he'll do. Um,
Yeah, I don't like that.
and I
I
was
feel like
heading yeah, so I was heading out of town, so like I suggested like Thursday night because I was leaving Sunday morning. Um, and he was like, he just said like, no, I only do coffee dates or phone calls. And I was like, oh, like, okay, then like all good, no worries, like that's halacha.
interesting. Yeah, I don't like a guy who says it like that because he sees I don't know. Also, a guy like that, we're all jaded, but like I think the key in dating is to not show your jadedness.
Yeah.
Because like, I don't know, a guy like that, it's just like he's resentful of being there, and you don't want to go out with a guy who's like already resenting you for like going on the date with him.
Yeah. Oh, I have like such a interesting thing to say about dating right now. Um, I got set up with a guy from Saw You at Sinai recently, and I just spent the last 2 weeks in Argentina, like visiting my grandmother's. So what I was trying to like not to date because like I didn't want to like take time away from like spending time with my family to
Yeah.
like go back to the hotel, do a Zoom call, phone call, also like time difference. I we matched and I was like, hey, listen, like I'm out of town for the next 2 weeks because he had texted me and then I texted him back and we had like two texts in between. And then he was like, I don't like texting. I'd rather just have a phone call. And I was like, all good. Like, I'm just letting you know I'm really busy for the next 2 weeks. Like, we can schedule something, but I don't know like my schedule so well with my family. And he was like, okay, like no worries. Um, let me know when you're like back. And I was like, okay, like I'll be back Memorial Day weekend. And he's like, all good, perfect, great. He sends me a text like a few days ago while I was still away. I kid you not, the text, what did the text say? It said like, I'm enjoying the peace and quiet while it lasts.
What the heck?
I have never, I was so confused. And I
Like in reference
literally,
to you?
I think so,
Or like
but
is
I
he
don't,
just like what?
I like send it to my friends right away. And I was like, what? And they're like, what was the like conversation? I literally like the text messages or blah, blah. I was like saying like, I'm going to be away until I come back on the 25th. And he was like, okay, great. Like, we'll schedule something then. So to get that text, I was like, hey, like, is everything good? Um, like, just kind of like clarifying. And he was like, oh, yeah, like, I thought we would have a phone call. And I was like, no, remember, like, I'm away for 2 weeks and like, I'd rather like just like be like more present during our phone call. And he was like, all good. Like, let me know when you're back. And
That's so weird.
it was a weird message to get.
That's
It was a
so
really,
weird. So are you gonna have a call with him?
I haven't decided. Yeah.
Yeah, that I don't like that because you set a boundary and it's like,
But not even the boundary. I just said like, listen, like I'm away for 2 weeks and he doesn't want to text, which I understand. Like I understand and I like agree. Like I don't like texting back and forth with guys. But to send me a text saying like I'm enjoying the peace and quiet while it lasts,
yeah, what?
oh, that is not how you open up a conversation.
Like, is he trying to
Like
be
ask me
passive
how my trip is going,
aggressive?
you know? I
Yeah,
don't know. I literally don't know what he wanted from that text message. Like I to this day I don't know what like went in his mind and said like I'm gonna text Genie this and she's gonna love it.
yeah. It sounds like he was being passive aggressive, unless his conversation was like, "Oh, like it's quiet here, like whatever, I'm enjoying it until the busy." Like, but no, it sounded like he's just being passive aggressive, and I don't like that.
Yeah, it was weird. Like I just thought it was a weird text message to receive. Like, is he saying that like when we talk, like like peace and quiet goes out the window? Like I was so confused.
Yeah, that's
Um,
really, really strange. I don't like that at
yeah,
all.
yeah, yeah. So that
Yeah.
yeah, so
Ugh, ew.
we haven't like scheduled anything and like I'm not like dying to schedule something with him, honestly.
No, I would wait till he reaches out.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I was like, listen, I also like told him like when I'm coming back, so
It's on
he
him.
knows when I'm coming back. Exactly.
It's on him. I think this is a good spot to take a quick break to hear a word from our sponsors. So we will be right back.
Shticky Situations is sponsored by Corona Crush. Are you tired of swiping on dating apps? Tired of guessing whether the cute guy or girl you keep seeing around is Jewish and or single? Then you need to run, not walk to join Corona Crush. Corona Crush is a Jewish organization working to create Jewish couples always. Corona Crush has over 30 confirmed engagements, over 22,000 members from all over the world, and has set up over 50,000 speed dates. Join the Corona Crush Facebook group and post yourself or have a friend post you and see who reaches out. Fill out the survey to sign up for virtual speed dating events happening every other week. Corona Crush is 100% free and 100% Jewish. Worst case, you end up with some stories of your own. Best case, you find the love of your life. Try it out today. Here on Shticky Situations, we tend to focus on bad dating stories, but sometimes dates do go well and lead to proposals and weddings. Who would have thought? And what do all of those require, you might be asking? Well, the answer is flowers. Who doesn't want flowers from someone they've been seeing? Don't forget, flower petals and bouquets needed for proposals. And that's even before all the flowers that go into weddings. Sticky Situations is sponsored by Primrose Flower Shop. In my opinion, Primrose is the coolest flower shop around and has the best customer service to fulfill all of your floral needs. Primrose offers a range of services from your basic bouquets to subscription services where you can get flowers delivered once a week. They deliver all over the tri-state area, including Manhattan. Primrose does weddings, bar and bat mitzvahs, and other simchas. I've personally been to a wedding where Primrose did the flowers, and the work they did was beyond gorgeous. Primrose additionally offers in-store proposals, including a romantic setup with candles and music. Primrose is located at 2922 Avenue M in Brooklyn, and the phone number is 929-376-9815. You can also follow Primrose on Instagram at PrimroseNY. So, if you can't get someone out of your head, buy them some flowers from Primrose. They'll either love it or they'll find you really creepy. But regardless, the flowers will be out of this world. Do you want a chance to possibly meet the love of your life? Or at the very worst, you can meet me and maybe get a podcast story. Join Maalot Mizrach for a singles Challah Bake. Meet like-minded people, mingle, and prep challah. The event is on July 16th at 6:45 on the Upper West Side, ages 24 to 36. Sign up with a partner of the opposite gender for a discount. Shticky Situations listeners can also get a discount for individual tickets using code SHTICKY. SHTICKY. The sign up link is in the episode description. I hope to see you all there. Okay, we're back, everybody. Okay, Genie, do you want to tell another story?
I think I told all the really important stories that
Okay.
have kind of like shaped who I am in this like dating persona.
Okay. Do you have any other items that you want to discuss?
While I was reflecting, I kind of had like I guess like advice to kind of give of
Okay.
like dating. The first thing I would say is like if you don't feel safe, I think that's one of like the most important things. And I'm not talking just physically safe, more on like emotionally safe with someone. It's going to be really hard to have open communication with that person. And like I've said earlier on the podcast, like communication really is key when you're dating someone, especially if you're dating long distance, if you're dating someone who maybe is more religious than you or less religious than you. You know, if you're dating someone who, just in general, there's so many different forms of dating nowadays,
Yeah.
especially with like texting versus phone calls. Having open communication and open and clear communication is so important. And I think if that's something you kind of establish from the get-go, it won't be weird if like, you know, after 4 dates, if you say like, hey, like you've been talking about XYZ, can we clarify that? It won't be like, oh, where's this coming from? You know?
Yeah.
So I'm very pro communication. And then the other thing is, I think we put so much pressure on ourselves. Like, I don't think the guys necessarily have as much pressure as we do. Like, when I introduce myself and I say, like, oh, I'm 28, I say kind of like, yeah, I'm 28. And you know, you get like looks and you get like, oh, yeah, don't worry. But then a guy will say, like, oh, I'm 28. And they're like, oh, you're good. You have time. And I think there is so much pressure when it comes to age. And it's so sad how, really, it's so sad how much pressure we've either put on ourselves or through like society standards or through our community standards. to feel like we're not enough because we're just a person who doesn't have a husband and doesn't have kids yet. But you could be someone who's amazing. Like I know who I am, and everyone who knows me in my community knows who I am. And I love, I love being a teacher. I'm so happy being a teacher. I love, working with kids, and I'm really passionate about early childhood education and early intervention. And I could talk about hours, but I'm still the single girl at the Shabbos meals. And sometimes that's so much harder than to be proud of yourself for
Yeah.
for what you aren't. Um,
Yeah. Yeah, I'm very, as you guys know, I talk about this a lot. Like, you have to be happy with where you are in your life. And just because you're single doesn't, being single isn't an illness. It's just a life stage. And like, I would rather stay single longer and meet the right person. And I think I said this in an episode that I was just editing, so it's a few episodes prior to this. I'd rather be the girl that people look at and be like, how the heck is she still single? Than be the one in a relationship and be like, oh, she chose him. Like, so yeah,
yeah,
I totally agree with you. And people put so much pressure on women, especially with age, but people need to get over it because women have kids well into their 40s. There's so much modern day fertility technology. Like, I personally have eggs in the freezer. A lot of my friends have eggs in the freezer, and I will be doing an episode with a fertility doctor, so everyone stay tuned for that. Like, also, just because a woman, a woman who's like 35, 36 could have better fertility than a woman who's 21. Like, age doesn't always mean like fertility status. And hopefully the fertility doctor will talk more about that. So like, we need to stop. We need to stop. Everyone just needs to stop with the age and pressuring women because you're pressuring women to be in relationships and pushing them into terrible relationships. And also showing the guys, by pressuring women, you're showing men that they can be mediocre and still get whatever they want. And it just teaches them that they can treat women badly and get away with it because women, quote unquote, need them. Women don't need them. We all want to get married and we want to have a partner, but we don't need a mediocre man. I would rather stay single forever than marry a man who does not treat me nicely.
I
Or
agree.
or marry a man who's not going to be a good partner.
Yeah, I
Like,
agree. I think there's the other part of the advice is like when they tell you don't settle, like I really am taking it like to heart. Like I refuse to settle. Like this is not just someone who I'm like having a fling with. This is my husband, the father of my children, the grandfather to my grandchildren. Like he's supposed to be my partner in everything. And you want like I'm supposed to settle, like just kind of like, oh, it's fine, just get married. It's like, no, I just refuse. I refuse to settle for someone who isn't the love of my life.
yeah, and who someone who is going to be a good partner through life. I do think that there are little things that we all settle on and that people aren't always going to find everything exactly how they think that they're looking for it. I think there is a little bit of settling that people do, but you should never settle on the big important things.
Right. You wouldn't settle on your values, but
Yeah.
certain small things like, okay, fine, like I can't think of like such big examples, but there's things that it's I don't even think it's so settling. I think it's also like compromising on things.
Yeah,
Um,
it's like I don't know, when I think of it it's more like the superficial.
mhm.
Like small superficial things. Like, okay, if he's bald, fine. You know, if he is I don't maybe not exactly what I imagined, like looks wise, okay. But like,
Right. Like
is he a
not
good
6'3".
person? Like, is he a good person? Do we have similar values? Do we want the same things in raising a family? Like those important things. Will he be a good partner? Does he does he care about me? Does he show that he cares about me? Like those are important things. But I definitely agree and nobody should settle because that's how people end up in bad situations. There are Facebook groups full of posts of women ending up in bad situations and like I I've stayed single long enough. Like I don't I'm hoping to avoid that.
Agreed. Like really, I'm good.
Yeah. Okay, Jeannie, is there anything else you want to share before we get into our wrap-up segment?
No, I think this has been so great, so fun.
Okay. So, okay, I know you just gave a few key pieces of advice, but do you have one piece of dating advice for me and my listeners?
I'm really into trusting your gut. I think, like we said earlier, when you know, when you don't, you don't. I think we have to like push past the icks, push past like, oh, maybe I can change him type thing. Like, I truly believe in listening to your body. I've been on dates where like I know like this is not it. This is just not it for me. And I've been like either like pressured to like go on like like date until you hate him type thing. And I've just been like I know and when I don't, I also know when I don't. I'm really into listening to your gut, listen to your body, listen to how they react to someone. I think that would be like my like biggest piece of advice.
Okay, it's a good one. And okay, you said you don't want to tell my listeners what you're looking for, correct? Or do you?
Um, no, I'm really off dating right now.
Okay.
So I'm off dating. I was going to talk about that earlier in one of the things, in one of the pieces of advice that know when to take breaks for yourself. Like know when you're about to get burnt out because
Yeah.
then like we discussed getting jaded, the next few guys you date, you're just gonna be like, ugh, ugh, no, no, no. So I think when you know yourself, when you're getting into the like kind of zone of like ill, 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 you kind of know like, okay, step back, go to a Pilates class, go do some self care, come back when you're ready. And that's kind of where my head is at the moment, where I just decided like, I'm good.
Okay. So Jeannie isn't going to say what she's looking for, but I'll still tell you guys my things because I told you I'd tell you every episode because I still want you to find me a husband. Okay, so the way that I usually do it is three deal breakers and three wants. So three things you're looking for and three deal breakers. So I guess I'll do my deal breakers first. I think last episode we finally figured out how this actually works. It took me a few episodes to get this segment to actually work. So my three deal breakers, number one, first and foremost, has to be it has to be a good person. I'm looking for someone who's kind and thoughtful and considerate and respectful and is just like a good person and has those good qualities. Number two, it needs to be like financially stable and responsible, have like good job, financially stable, financial stability and responsibility. Like it's something that I need that. And my last deal breaker is they need to be on a similar page religiously to me. Like, I need someone who keeps Shabbos and who mostly keeps kosher or mostly keeps Shabbos. Like, they need that element of that value. They can be a little more religious, a little less religious. Honestly, I don't care as long as there's a mutual respect. But at the end of the day, I do want to keep Shabbos with someone and I do want to have a kosher home with someone and be a part of that be a part of a modern Orthodox community with someone. So those are my three deal breakers. And then three other things that I would like someone with a good personality. I have a good personality. I'm fun. I don't need someone completely at my level, but it would be nice if I could have someone who like at least appreciates it and can hang and like thinks I'm funny. Age is definitely something I'm looking for. I want someone who's age appropriate. I find that I get along best with people around my own age. I'll date a couple years younger, a couple years older. Fine. I guess if I had to put real numbers on it, loosely around 27, 28 to like 35, 36. So I also feel like my coworkers actually told me that I'm Gen Z. I'm literally not. I'm 32 years old. But my coworkers are like, you're Gen Z. And I'm like, no, I think I'm just chronically online. So I definitely tend to get along with people who are like a little younger, like around my age or a little younger. Like guys who are like older, it's just like they don't understand what I'm saying and they don't get my vibe. So yeah. And also, like, I can have kids, so like, leave me alone. Like, I can date a guy who's 2 years younger than me. It won't kill anyone. And men, you should date women who are a little older than you because it's good for you. And then the last thing is someone who takes their health seriously. So like I really don't want a smoker. That a smoker is kind of a deal breaker for me. Like I can't date someone who smokes, but ideally I also would like someone who does not drink excessively, doesn't do drugs, and someone who just like values their body and their health. Like I don't know, I work out, I try to eat healthy. I like someone who has balance. Like they go to the gym but will also split french fries with me, but like also tries to like be healthy so we can be around for a long time with our future children, grandchildren, great grandchildren, all of that. So those are my things, and yes, I did write it down this time. But yeah. So everyone, Sticky Situation Nation, if you know anyone for me, please send them my way. That would be really fun. So yeah. Okay. And Genie, last but not least, what is your tagline?
Okay. I remember I like said this to you just randomly and we loved it. So I'm just gonna say
Yeah.
it again. When it comes to dating, I really need Hashem to take the wheel because I'm ready to crash this car.
She said that to me and I died. Like, it's just such a good line. Like, yeah, we have we just, we can do our hishadlu and all the effort and work that we put into it, but we really need to have faith that, like, God will take control before we crash the car. And, like, it also goes with what you're saying. And I think this was the context you said it in with the dating break. And, like, you need to know your limits. And sometimes you just need to be hands off so God takes control because like you can get really burnt out and crash the car.
Yeah, I actually had a mentor back in SEM tell me I was having a bad day with dating that day. And so we were talking about dating and I was like, I do everything. Like I'm on every app, I'm on every site, I'm with every shotgun, I have meetings, I do this, I do that. Like, what else am I supposed to do? And I just remember her looking at me and she's like, if you're doing everything, like where's room for Hashem to do things? And I
Yeah.
kind of like stepped back and I was like, oh, that's yeah. Like, and she was like, no, really, like, if you're putting in like 110% effort and you are trying to control every single aspect of the situation, like, you're not really leaving room for Hashem to also do things. So just like take a step back, and every so often, like, I'll remember that, and I'm like, okay, yeah, like, just take a step back.
Yeah. And that was it kind of goes along with my whole thing that I've been doing this year of like really turning to God because I just don't think there's more left that I can do. So, yeah, I 100% get it. And it's so funny. And I think I laughed so hard at when you said that because it's just so true. And like sometimes you just need to turn to God and like take your hands off the wheel. I
Yeah.
mean, not when you're actually driving because that's dangerous, but like
But like
in
for this,
dating, in
dating,
dating,
exactly.
take a step back and maybe pray. Go pray. Maybe that instead of
Yeah.
like trying to force yourself into doing something, like turn to God.
Yeah.
But
Um, it's definitely a good idea. Just kind of like go talk to him. Just kind of say like, listen, it's your turn. Like I've done what I need to do, but really, like I'm putting it in your hands now. Like help me out here.
yeah, 100%. But yeah, Jeannie, this has been so much fun. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me. This was really fun. I love to yap.
Of course, I also love to yap. As you guys already know, I have this podcast. But yeah, so thank you again so much, Jeannie. And Shticky Situation Nation, you'll catch me next time. Bye, everybody.